You know what's fascinating? Studies show that 85% of workplace conflicts stem from misunderstandings about basic tasks and roles. Yet most of us think we're crystal clear about what we're supposed to be doing.
That's such an eye-opening statistic, and it really highlights how our perceptions can be completely off base when it comes to group dynamics.
Well, here's what makes this even more interesting. Every single task we undertake is actually unique, even if we think we've done it before. The time boundary alone makes it different, not to mention all the psychological baggage we bring to the table.
So, you're saying that even routine meetings are never truly routine?
Exactly right. Think about it like this. We're all carrying around these invisible suitcases filled with past experiences, and they color everything we do. Research in organizational psychology shows that about 60% of our task-related decisions are influenced by previous experiences rather than present circumstances.
That really explains why sometimes people in the same meeting can walk away with completely different interpretations.
And here's where it gets fascinating. There are actually distinct patterns to how groups get derailed. Let me pose a question. What do you think happens most often when a group faces uncertainty? Take a moment to think about it.
I'm guessing people look for someone to take charge.
Exactly. It's called dependency behavior, and studies show it occurs in roughly 40% of group situations under stress. But that's just one of 4 basic patterns. We also see pairing, where 2 people become the group's focus of hope, fight, flight responses, and something really interesting called oneness.
Tell me more about this oneness concept. It sounds intriguing.
Well, it's like when a group becomes this undifferentiated blob, everyone nodding along, no conflict, perfect harmony. But here's the kicker. Research indicates that groups exhibiting strong oneness behavior are 75% more likely to make poor decisions because they are avoiding necessary conflict.
That's remarkable. So, how do successful groups manage to avoid these pitfalls?
They use something called the process task, which is, well, think of it like a group's version of therapy. Recent studies show that teams that dedicate just 15 minutes per week to examining their own dynamics see a 30% improvement in productivity.
Those numbers are compelling, but I imagine implementing something like that isn't easy.
You're right, and here's another question to consider. What 3 elements do you think are absolutely essential for successful group task management? Take a moment.
Well, based on what we've discussed, I'd imagine clarity has to be one of them.
Right. The 3 critical elements are crystal clear task definition, someone who can distinguish between different types of tasks, and, this is key, understanding that tasks are fluid because of personal perception. Organizations that maintain these 3 elements report 45% fewer interpersonal conflicts.
Those are some powerful insights for anyone working in teams or leading groups.
And you know what's really interesting? The most successful groups actually plan for off-task behavior. They expect it, they recognize it, and they have systems in place to address it. It's like having an emotional fire drill. You know what to do when things get heated.
That's such a practical way to look at it.
Let me wrap this up with something that might surprise you. Groups that acknowledge and work with their survival task rather than pretending it doesn't exist are 65% more likely to achieve their primary objectives. It's not about eliminating these natural group dynamics. It's about working with them intelligently.
This has been incredibly enlightening. It really changes how you look at every group interaction.
Indeed, it does. Remember, folks, every meeting, every project, every group interaction is an opportunity to apply these insights. And if you're wondering where to start, just remember, awareness is the first step. The data shows that simply being conscious of these patterns can reduce group conflicts by up to 25%.